Hello my angels and devils and all who may wander here. It is Amanda Christina, and as promised I have the book paper wreath tutorial for you. I have pre-done some of the work just because it's going to take a while and I may have to pause this a couple of times. For example, I don't have my hot glue gun plugged in yet just because it is so freaking hot. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is, well, actually I'm not doing this in the same order I would normally. I'm just literally, I do have a cropodile. For the life of me, no idea where it is. No idea where I last saw it. So we're just going to go with the trusty silent setter. And you just want to pick a couple of, you want a piece, square or rectangle, doesn't really matter. This is from a red pawpaw box. And you just literally want to punch some holes into it. It's been a while since I've used my silent setter. Forgot that this is actually more work. You get so spoilt by crocodiles and things. I should have looked for my Tim Holtz punch instead. That probably would have been a little bit quicker with this kind of cardstock. I'm being a bit naughty doing this straight on the table. You can just, I'm just being, because you're not actually going to see where this is, it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. So you just kind of want to bring it in approximately the same place. It's not going to affect it too badly if it hasn't. This is something when I used to teach craft at West Street, I haven't been there for so long, I swear they forgot about me, but anyway, when I used to teach craft at West Street, this is one of the Christmas crafts I did with the crafters because I had seen something on YouTube, and I will see if I can find it. I was a bit absolutely gobsmacked at the person who did the one on YouTube because she killed an antique dictionary, and when I'm talking antique, it was 1800s or something, and it just broke my heart. The book I am killing is a Marion Keyes book. I have read it. I won't ever read it again. It cost me a couple of dollars. So there's my two little holes. Sorry, if you see me looking to the side, that's me looking at my laptop trying to figure out where to hold things. So then what we're going to do next, so should run through what we've got. Got my silent setter, so you need a hole punch of some kind. A big round circle, a smaller round circle, a pencil or marker, some decorations, and I didn't realise these were so small. I should have got like a couple of different sizes, but that should work. A book, of course, some ribbon or string. This is a bit, because it's been in my stash for forever, but it's just the gold. And we're going to do another craft with that later for another day of Vlogmas. And I have pre-done these, and I will show you how to do these, though I did in my day 2 Vlogmas video, I think it was. So basically you're just going to center your circle and you're just going to trace. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle, so if it hits the edges like this one is, I just sort of grabbed something that looked about right. So, and see these bits around the edges, do not stress. When we did this in craft class, we actually cut up bigger boxes and did these giant ones, and honestly, it's not going to matter. So what you do is then you just approximately want the center. As again, this is not a precise science. If you're a perfectionist crafter, this is not the craft for you. So basically you're just drawing a little donut, and I've just realized that I don't actually have my craft light on, which helps. So just pop this across my lap and plug this in just for a bit of lighting's not too bad because it is a nice day, but sometimes it really does help to have this extra light. I at least look nicer in the extra light. I look extra pale and extra everything today because it is very hot and there is no fan out here at the moment. So basically you have your donut shape. So hopefully you can see that nice and well. And then we're just going to pop that to the side for a second. And what I'm going to do is show you, so this is the book I tore apart, and as you can see I've gone through quite a few pages which are sitting beside me. And for anyone who was watching the Gingerberry Blasters video, this is what it looks like just a little while later. How pretty is that as a drink? That is so festive, but I drink this all through summer, sometimes even in winter, just for a boost. It actually is really energizing. So I really enjoy that as a drink. So all you're going to do is you take your page, you just pull gently. We'll just do 3. And I'll just sit this up here to make it easy for you to see what I'm doing. And then you just pick a side. Hang on, which one has the... I try and do the wider... What do you call it? The wider border edge thing. And then you literally just fold it into thirds. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be a thinner strip. And then you just repeat the process until you have bucket loads. I'm going to stop with these 3, and then I will see, some are going to be wider than others, and I don't stress that. I'm not that fussy, because the idea of this is that it kind of looks funky. But if you're a perfectionist, you can measure it, you can score it on your scoreboard. I mean, that is actually an option. I only just thought of that, but honestly, just sitting there and tearing pages out of books. Now, I love books. I'm passionate about reading and books. However, sometimes when, like, this is a mass-produced book, there's never going to be a shortage of copies of it. And honestly, I'd read it. It's not one I felt like I would read again. So I'm going to pop that to the side, and we're going to bring this back. So now we've got our pile of these. We need craft glue. Actually, what I will do first, and I do have scissors poking out here, is if I can find the end of this, because that is the trick, finding the end of this, is that I'm going to attach this now, just because once you start, it can be a little tricky to find the holes, which sounds so damn rude. I promise it's not meant to be. And then I'm just going to make sure the knots are on the back. You just want a nice tight knot, and I always do a triple knot because the first 2 can slip, and then I'm just gonna take the big shears. I do have smaller scissors here, I just saw the smaller scissors, but it'll do. And then sort of what you do is, I'm showing, it doesn't really matter which side, but what you do is you sort of figure out how much hang you want. I think that should be about enough. So then you just cut, and where'd my roll go? There's my roll. And if you have some of this stuff, make sure you get it out, because we're going to, the next craft video is going to be this. You'll need a hole punch or silent setter and some papers and a stocking pattern, or just a stocking to trace around. Then we make sure we leave enough to tie it. Well, that was not very clever of me. And then I'm just going to do the triple knot again. That way you don't even have to worry about this being something you have to do later. Again, just trimming a bit down. And that's it for the scissor work today. So that comes off. And there you go. So you've got your hanging, your ability to hang it. As I said, I'm looking at this and I should be looking at you, but I'm trying to make sure you can see everything. So now what you're going to do is you've got your craft glue. And I'm just going to, you just pick somewhere to start basically. So you just want a little bit down because it's hot today, so I'm not going to try and do too much at once. So what you're going to do is you take your thing, your folded piece, and you fold it. No, hang on. How do I do this? I'm trying to remember. Sorry, that way. So basically you want the largest portion of your writing standing up. Now, if you've got the decal edge scissors or you feel like it, you can easily just tear the edge and ink the edge. This book paper is so versatile. And then what I'm going to do is just literally put a little bit of glue across there just to hold it in place. And then I'm probably going to do this down, like, yeah, down a little bit. You don't need it quite as high up as I did it. And then we just do the same thing, which is fold it up so that the writing stands up. I mean, if you're not fussy about that, it honestly doesn't matter. And I'll do a couple more of these and pause the video so that you don't have to sit through all of this. And then you just literally sort of following the circle around. Don't worry about these bits that aren't covered, because what will happen with those is that you will basically end up, and if like this one, say this one's sticking up still a bit, so just make sure you dab a little glue in the other spots that it's sticking up. That way you won't have it sticking up too much. It just depends on the piece. Some pieces are probably going to need a little more glue than others. As I said, it really does depend. And I'm going the wrong direction, but that's okay. And then we're just going to, I'll do one more just so that you can see, and then I'll make sure I've done the first layer and show you how to do the second layer. It really is this simple. Like, it's crazy how simple this is. Originally I had seen, is it this way? I had seen some that were, oh my gosh, it was crazy. It was done with, it was really beautiful. It was done with cones, and the cones were such a pain, like, to make. And I was like, there has to be an easier way. So I started playing around with that idea, and yeah, I think I forgot that I came in a little bit on each of these. So there we go. And that's, see, so now you're just going to follow that all the way around. I'm going to pause this, do that, and come back and show you what you do with the next layer. And basically, once I show you what to do with the next layer, you go right through until you're sort of happy with how full it is. So we will pause this video and come back to you. Wow, it's been 12 minutes already. Wow. Okay. Hi, my angels and devils. Okay, so this was just paused. This is where we're at now. This is the first layer, which doesn't look like a lot. It just looks like a giant sun. But you get the idea of where we're going. Except for one falling, because the weather's just making everything a little wonky today. Okay, so that, now what you're going to do is you keep going, but you fill in the gaps. So instead of just going over what you've already done, as such, there we go. I was trying to figure out how I was meant to be doing that then. And it honestly doesn't matter if the writing's all over the place. If you don't do it all with the writing facing up, that's not going to matter. So basically what we're going to do is come in, and on the next level, so basically you're working your way around in a sort of spiral pattern. So we're just going to pop that in between there, but you're just going to come in a bit each time you do it. And as you come in, you get this really nice full wreath effect, and it's so pretty, and it's just something really unique. Like, the good thing about this is, like, I'm just going to leave this plain, but if you wanted to paint splatter it or to mist it, there's so many things you can do with this, like, to make it more than just book pages. I'm a big fan at the moment of the Tim Holtz mediums, especially the antiquing and the crazing, and the book pages look so good antiqued and crazed. It probably would take a while to do on something like this, and you definitely need the bigger jar, but a little bit goes a long way with both of those mediums, so it would be something really awesome. So as you can see, I'm going to do a few more just so you can see it a little better. But as you can see, we're just filling in the gaps. And let's face it, we all have books in our bookshelves that we don't want anymore, that are not really of any value. And yeah, you can recycle them and send them to second-hand stores, but sometimes it's nice to craft with them. And sometimes I will buy books specifically to craft with, as in the case with the ones that I bought for Poe Party that I wanted to do Raven confetti with, but I never got to do because I couldn't find all the authors as yet. Doesn't mean I'm not still looking, it's just that's what happens. So yeah, honestly, this is one of it's time consuming, but it is a very easy craft. And as I said, I'm doing this a lot smaller than my original one. My original one was quite big. Like, I used a big dinner plate, I think we used, or a pot lid or so. It was huge. Whatever we used, I remember it being very, very big. So I'm just gonna make sure they're well anchored. So if you're putting them in a spot where there may not be as much glue, just make sure to anchor them down a bit more as well. Okay, so this gives you the idea. It's not terribly difficult. As I said, it's just a little time consuming, and sometimes it's nice to have a craft that is very sort of simplified. It's not hard. I did try doing the paper cones, and they were just so annoying that I was like, you know what, if I had to do this for a whole wreath's worth, I'm not going to do it. And I was looking for something that was easy for my crafters to do. At the time, I was teaching people who were like all different sort of mental capacities and abilities, and also all sorts of mental illnesses. So there was so many different types of people that I needed something that advanced and beginner could do, and that's part of the hard bit of teaching craft. There was the fact that I really did need stuff that was both beginners and more advanced. So I've almost gotten halfway around this just chatting to you. Where are we? We're at 16 minutes. So basically, as you can see on this half, as you can see on this half, that is just filling the gaps. Then you do that all the way around, and then you start again and start again until you get towards the center. You can come in a little bit on the center if you want to. It just depends on how much ornament filling you want. If you don't want the ornament filling, just cut out the center and just push part of the book through. Just maybe, just end with the book in the middle, but cut your center out first. That way you won't. You can see how uneven this looks too. But it honestly doesn't matter. It just adds to the charm of it. So as this is almost 20 minutes long already, going to pause, finish doing this, heat up the hot glue gun, and get ready to finish this. And the other thing is that if you wanted to, you can dab some glossy accents or like triple thick or something and sprinkle glitter over it as well. Like, there's so many possibilities. I'm keeping this super simple just for the sake of the video, but there are so many things you can do with something this plain and simple and fun. So yeah, anyway, I'll stop rabbiting on now and I'll be back in a minute. Just a quick tip. As you get further in, you're going to want to just put your glue across the bottom. It just becomes too hard to see where it is, and also you start needing that glue because you're putting them over each other. So that's just the thing to remember, is just make sure as you get further along in your wreath, I've got glue there, that you glue the backs instead of trying to put the glue on the cardstock. Okay, back soon. Okay, so I'm almost done, but what I'm going to do is I'm just sort of tearing a piece just to cover some of the cardboard underneath. You don't have to do this. We didn't do it on the originals. I just had this little brainwave and thought if I stuck a piece here and anything was poking through, if I did it before I did my final layer, then you would basically have some sort of camouflage for the cardboard. So that's all I'm doing, is just literally plonking. I just did a rough tear of a piece of the book page and I'm just plonking it in the center there. As I said, if you did not want the ornaments in the center, you could just cut that center out and work to the center and then just finish, then just leave it as is. Yeah, so okay, I'll be back once I do that final centre bit. Okay, so this is, get rid of the bug on my desk. This is what we have so far. So that is your wreath. Now you could easily just put a little Merry Christmas. I was going to order some this week, but unfortunately Woolworths Online sold out of the Merry Christmas signs, so that is not an option for me anymore. So I'm going to put some ornaments in the centre. As I said, you could cut the centre out and just have it just like this. It is really pretty. I forgot how nice this was as a Christmas wreath. What I'm going to do is try not to have these go everywhere, which is actually one of the saving graces of this Ken Oliver craft mat, is that everything sort of stays in place on it. I've already taken the liberty of cutting out all these little stringy bits, so now what I'm going to do is just grab my hot glue gun, which, if anyone who already knows I am not a huge fan of hot glue, but what I'm going to do is just put some hot glue, and then you're just going to kind of, I'm sort of saving the glittery ones for towards the top, and then you're just going to kind of randomly shove these into the center. Yeah, I don't have a lot of extra hot glue, so I have something on standby to use. Ugh. And of course the bugs are attacking me today. Just what you need on a day like today. It's hot and I'm annoyed enough as it is. Okay, let's just shove this one in here. And I'm just using up the gold and the green first because they're colours that I'm happy to have hidden towards the bottom. Just gonna, hang on, that's in enough. Okay, now I'm just gonna do some purples and pinks in the nice place, like just sort of spackle, and the blues, and then I'm just going to put some glitter ones at the top. Unfortunately, I'm running out of hot glue. I am hoping this Baubles stick will work because I do not know where any more hot glue is in my house right now. If I'm perfectly bluntly honest, as you know, I am not a hot glue crafter, so I really do not use hot glue very often. So for me to even pull out the hot glue is kind of a rare thing. So yeah. Ugh. I don't know where all these bugs have come from all of a sudden, but I'm going to go and have a good spray after this. Ugh. If nothing else, the Baubles will... I just put my finger through hot glue. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, and then we're just going to... Well... And I just dripped hot glue on my thing already. This is why I do not like hot glue. I am not good with hot glue, people. There we go. Okay. I just dripped it. Oh, it's dripping everywhere. This is why I do not like hot glue. It gets everywhere. It's messy. And for me, I find it messier than a lot of other things. So I kind of want to keep a couple of pinks and purples. I only have a couple of glittery pinks. I only have one green, two green. Oh my god, I'm in such a mess. Now you're starting to understand why I do not use hot glue. I find it a pain in the butt. Anyway, so we're just going to start kind of stacking these in a bit. Just kind of creating a pile of... Basically, that will all come up hopefully easily enough. Glue strings is another thing I hate about hot glue. Ugh. Oh, obviously this gun was hidden somewhere where there were bugs, because there were no bugs on my table until I started hot gluing. Oh my god. I don't even think you can see all the cobwebby strandiness that is my table right now, or my hand. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I have to laugh at this because this is just insanity. This is just the story of my life. This is why I actually get in more of a mess with hot glue than I do with craft glue. I get into quite some messiness with craft glue. And it's not set yet. Okay, this must be high temp. So now I've ruined a couple of my pages. Just gently see if I can work that off. Worst comes to worst, I can always there's a little dummy trick that you can do, which is just to put another little piece of paper over where the glue was. But hopefully it won't affect the wreath too badly. Okay, so let me just do this and dip it through the already bit of glue that has come out and pop it in there. And then I just kind of want to do, actually, and I've just done that in the wrong kind of way because I kind of wanted to do that. And then I think I'm just going to chuck some various glitter ones in some other spaces just to make it a little fuller. Go in, go in. Oh, I hope this holds up. Considering now I think we're on to using the Baubles. But basically you just want to create, it's up to you how you do it. I literally bought these specifically to use on this particular project. So, that is why they're getting used. I'm using them all up just because I wanted to, and I wanted this to look a bit full and pretty. And that's the last spot I can cram a bauble in. Let's unplug this bad boy before it does any more damage to me. Okay. Baubles probably not the right thing to use, just looking at the mess it's made. But it's what I had. So we just have to hope that it all sets nice and hard. And then we'll do the big reveal once I get rid of all the cobwebby bits off my fingers. Okay. So just gently, hope no baubles fall off. That is your book paper Christmas wreath. Don't think I did too bad on ornament placement. I probably could use a few extras, but that's it. You can use whatever you want in the center, or as I said, you can totally cut the center out. I think it turned out pretty good. Look, honestly, you're going to need to fold a lot of pages. Probably a good 2 to 3 hours or so of work goes into this. But at the end of the day, you end up with something really funky and cool. And you made it yourself. You're recycling an old book. And yeah. So sparkly. We like the sparkly. The only thing, as I said, I wanted to add was a glitter Merry Christmas either across the top or bottom. Unfortunately, I didn't add them to my shopping cart last week. I thought, oh no, I'll grab them next week, and they're no longer available. They might be in store, but that's okay. So yeah, so that's what that's the book paper wreath. I hope you enjoyed this. This is a very long video, and it's going to take me a very long time to upload. So if you made it all the way through, glitter bauble is the code word. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please click the like button and let me know if there's other tutorials you'd like to see. If you're new here and you're not already one of my incredible, amazing, wonderful subscribers, please click that subscribe button. Not only does it mean the world to me, but you really will be joining an incredibly diverse, amazing community of people. So happy crafting. I wish you a Merry Vlogmas, I wish you a Merry Vlogmas, I wish you a Merry Vlogmas, and the vlog ends right here.